Hello, everyone. This is the Elevator Pod, a writer's room podcast where we take an hour to just write a story and a movie. Joel, maybe you should do it.
We have 1 hour to
This is
take
my first day,
some
everyone.
idea and write a movie about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like wizards, we magically turn ideas into longer ideas.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
I am Joel, one of the hosts today.
And I am Shireen. I'm the next host today.
The other host
The
today.
other host.
I must confess right off the bat, I am absolutely drunk on noodles. I ate a bunch of noodles. My belly is
He
full.
really did eat a bunch of noodles. I ate less noodles, so let's say that
So
I'm like,
she will bring the hype. She will bring the energy.
yeah.
I might be silly. I don't know.
This is like an after lunch kind of podcast, so I guess it's gonna be very slow,
It's the
very
sleepy
tired.
time podcast for your
Sleep,
commute
yeah,
home.
yeah.
You there at the steering wheel. Close your eyes. Let God take the wheel. You are on your way.
Yeah, just let our lovely voices guide you to your next destination.
Shireen, I kinda sad. You ever look at the stars and thought those stars are so imperfect.
I have looked at the stars and thought, wow, they are very ugly right now.
There are so many faults in those stars.
Yes, there's so many things that needs to be changed.
Yo, did you? Well, speaking of faults and stars, you may
Mhm.
not be aware, but did you know that there's a movie and book by the title of A Fault in Our Stars?
Mhm.
What if
By Jonathan Green.
by Jonathan Granathan?
Mhm.
What if you and I were to write a sequel to The Fault in Our Stars?
I'm thinking to myself and I'm like, how is this not fan fiction? It kind of sounds
It's
like we're
not.
just
It's
about to write fan fiction.
transformative. It is
Mm-hmm.
a sequel,
Mm-hmm.
right? It is a cash grab for Hollywood.
Yes. Let them make more money off of a different generation. Because I remember like around the time that came out, we were teenagers.
We were teens. And
Yeah,
as I've
and
stated, I stated it on all 2 of the episodes we have had so far.
mm-hmm.
I thought that reunite would help me to understand how to get girls. It did not. So anyway, today we will be writing the sequel to The Fault in Our Stars.
Yes.
Let me just press this button here.
Mm-hmm. So my background with The Fault in Our Stars, I was obsessed with it whenever it came out. I can't
Hmm.
remember; it was so long ago. Um, but I was obsessed, and I remember like I was a library prefect in school.
Oh my
I
gosh.
know, right? I was hot.
How could one woman have so much power?
I know. I was just hot and popular. Obviously, the library prefects ran the school.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I remember like all of the girls who were library prefects at that time, we would pass the book around and then we would have I think on Fridays or something, we would have movie days. So then the librarian would show The Fault in Our Stars and all of us would just sit down and watch it. And then she started selling merch. I
What?
think she liked
She's
the show more
smart.
than
She
we
was
did.
smart.
Yeah. Yeah. So then I think I had a bag that said okay, okay. And
Oh
I think I
wow.
had a button that said okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And then I also had the book. So I think I'm qualified. I don't know about you.
Okay, so seeing as I'm completely unqualified because I read I believe the first 3 chapters. I got up to the part where he had the cigarette in his mouth and he was like, "It's a metaphor."
It's so bad. Like, no offense to John Gray, I'm sure he's a great person. It was so bad. It was so pretentious. It was just like, I think a lot of these writers, a lot of these huge writers are just kind of like living their fantasies through these books. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But that was obviously like a fantasy he definitely had when he was a
You think
teenager.
so?
Yes. It's so realistic in the worst way possible, you know? Like it's realistic in a way where you're thinking only a teenager would write like this. Because it never happens in real life. I mean,
Does it?
people get cancer,
Okay.
but
Okay, that's a wonderful way to start it.
Hmm.
All right, so speaking of cancer, that was the plot of the movie, right? Everyone got cancer. Uh, I am asking
Um.
Augustus was his name? Augustus Waters,
Mhm.
Baby Driver, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, he was Baby Driver, I think. He got cancer.
Oh my god. Side note, but Ansel Elgort, who played Augustus in the movie, he got cancelled recently.
Cancelled?
Yeah, I think for sexual assault.
What?
I
Oh
can't remember.
no.
Like, actually, let me not make any statements, but he did get cancelled recently. Yeah, very
Shucks.
sad. Anyway, yeah. So from what I remember, the movie, I mean, well, the book to be about. I haven't read it in years. Um, Hazel and Augustus, they meet at a support group for kids with cancer. They fall in love. Augustus dies. And then Hazel must find a way to move on, I guess. I don't really remember
That's not how the
much.
book had end, like when he died? That's
No, it
not
didn't
written?
end when he died.
Oh, it went on
I think they
after
were like,
that.
yeah, I think they were like a good couple chapters after he died. But let
Okay.
me tell you like an interesting story. So, because when I went to watch the movie, I remember when I watched the movie by myself,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a packed theater, a packed theater. Movie calling movies on theater. Anyway, it was packed, and I remember it was just like a bunch of teenage girls, and then I saw my librarian in there.
What?
Yes. And it was like a school. It was like a weekday, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it was packed and it was just girls. And then when the part when Augustus died came up, everybody started crying. Everybody.
Wow.
Like the entire theater was just like it
Just like that, with that same sound effect.
mm-hmm.
Gosh, John Green probably
Exactly that
made so much
noise.
money,
Yeah.
which is why we're about to make billions.
Right?
So,
He should thank us
the
for reviving
sequel to
him.
the situation, to that situation. But and he had to paper towns afterwards, and I don't think anybody would care about that one.
I know somebody who said that Paper Towns is their favorite book. Ugh.
Is that person perhaps Shireen?
No.
Okay.
Mine is Looking for Alaska, which is honestly equally as bad. So no, mine is it doesn't matter what mine is. Let's move
Mine is
on.
an abundance of Catherines.
Yes.
And okay, okay. The Fault in Our Stars ends with Hazel trying to move on from Augustus.
But I can't remember if she died or not. She had lung cancer.
I want her to survive.
What if we because if we just write the entire story based on the idea of her surviving and then we go home and we find out that she's dead, that she died in the book.
Does she have any book?
I can't remember. Let me look it up.
Nah, I don't think she died in the book. Can we just assume that she survived?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And because the idea that I immediately had when we started talking about this was what if the story is about Hazel, she never moved on or loved another person romantically, but she did love her adopted son, Augustus.
Um, okay. I just Googled it and it says she died 2 or 3 years after the book ends.
That just sounds like John Green doing nothing that J.K. Rowling does do.
Yeah.
And you know what, John? You write the first book. That's great. We'll take it from here.
It's out of his hands
It's out
now.
of your hands now. Because if we assume that she died, the sequel will have to happen in heaven or something.
I mean,
Does it?
does it?
What if it does?
I mean, it can. That would be kind of a sieve.
Would it though?
Imagine if she dies and she's like, "Oh my god, have you seen The Good Place?"
Piece of it, yeah. Starring the guy who played Becca, right?
Who played what?
Becca from the hit sitcom Becca,
Excuse me?
who played the guy from Cheers, from the hit
Who
sitcom
are you
Cheers.
talking about? Like the old guy, the black guy, the Asian guy?
The old guy, right? And
I don't know. I've never seen Becca. Um,
wow,
yeah, but like it
but
has,
you've seen The Good Place.
yeah, duh.
If If you're really a fan of that one old guy, name three of his movies.
Shut up. Okay. So, all right. So in The Good Place, like the whole premise is like it all happened after they died.
Mm-hmm.
Why not here too? Why not with this?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so
like
in The Fault in Our Stars Part 2, they go to they are dead?
are they in heaven or are they in
Are
hell?
they in hell? What if Augustus's ghost remains on Earth in limbo? Hazel goes to heaven, sees that he is a ghost on Earth, and she's like, I'm going to guide him home.
I'm throwing up right now. It sounds sappy. It
It
sounds
is. It's The
sappy.
Fault in Our Stars Part 2.
That is true. That is true. Why would Augustus be in limbo?
His love for Hazel kept him on Earth.
Okay, but if she also died, right? Then
Hmm.
wouldn't he go to heaven if she?
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, I guess. Alright, so if she goes to heaven, that would mean she felt like a sense of closure. And so she died and went up. She went up there. If he is a ghost, that means it have some lack of closure somewhere for him,
Mhm.
right?
What was the original idea about her falling in love with her adopted son?
No, she don't romantically fall in love with him. She adopts a child and names it Augustus.
You know what? I just had an idea for that because, like, what if she also sticks like a cigarette in the child's mouth?
Oh, what? So she's
Yeah.
in she's in jail for neglectfully treating her child, right?
Hmm.
Because she stuck cigarettes in the child's mouth.
And then every time someone is asking her, like, "Are you giving that baby a cigarette?" She's like, "It's a metaphor."
And Augustus, accompanied by the ghost of that Augustus, must must break out of prison.
Oh no. Okay, yeah, that's kind of it. Like, I think that's it.
Is it really?
That might
Is
be
it
it.
really?
That might be it.
Wow.
Okay. Hazel has never moved on. Uh-huh. She adopted a child. How old is the kid?
The kid could be like 9 or 10.
Mm-hmm. 9.
Not a grown child. Still a child, not a grown child.
Okay. Smokes cigarettes, but not really.
Metaphorically smoke cigarettes.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So what if, like, behind her back, he starts smoking, and then he
Oh,
becomes a
wow.
chain smoker,
I-
and then he gets cancer too. No. And then he gets lung cancer too. Oh my
You can't just
gosh.
give a 9-year lung cancer
That's
so
true.
quickly.
Yeah, like that takes a while to kick in.
Mm-hmm.
That could be like later on.
So he definitely is accompanied by the ghost.
Mhm. All right. Let's start from the beginning. Okay. So Augustus has died. Hazel is struggling to move on. It's 2 to 3 years later. She's out of high school. She has nothing really to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because she barely got to pursue any passions due to her sickness.
Mm-hmm.
And she's bored and she's looking for a little
So he
project.
just adopts a child.
Yeah, because that's so easy to
Okay,
do, I
but
guess.
here's what I'm thinking, right? At 18, 19 years old, and with lung cancer, they're probably not going to let her adopt a child by herself, right?
Mm,
What if this is years in the future? Let's say 12 years in the future, and the child is now 9 years old, right?
mm-hmm.
Now, we don't know this, but the child will eventually discover that he was not adopted, he was kidnapped.
Oh my gosh.
by Hazel, who is definitely 100% insane.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So say like one day she's sitting out in the park, she's depressed. She-
Mhm.
Every single one of the characters we create is
Are depressed,
depressed.
right?
Why am I projecting? Why am I projecting onto these characters? Anyway, she's depressed.
Mhm.
She is staring off into distance. She's like, damn, I wish my life had meaning. And then she looks up and she sees a mother and her son playing at the park.
Mhm.
The mother leaves her son playing in, I don't know, like a sandbox or whatever children like to do. And she walks off to buy ice cream. And Hazel's like, huh, that kid kind of looks like Augustus. Vaguely, like he has brown hair. I could see it.
do we
So
do we start the movie with this though?
yeah, yeah. Like, what if she actually thinks he's Augustus too?
Like she's the child's the reincarnation of Augustus.
Mm-hmm.
She thinks the child has Augustus's nose. The child black
Mm-hmm.
though, but she crazy. So so she clinging on to any semblance of Augustus.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that child has Augustus's nose. He holds a cigarette just like Augustus. The child would not be holding a cigarette. Oh gosh, that's the noodle drunk. That's the noodle drunk getting to me. The child would not be just holding a cigarette as yet,
Mm-hmm.
because Hazel would eventually give the child a cigarette. Ah. But does it open with that? Because I was thinking that like that would be a big reveal for the child and the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the child discovers what happened.
Sure. Yeah.
Or the child don't necessarily find out what happened, but like the
Oh, so we can't have a scene where she kidnaps the child.
yeah, we would. We could well, I don't know, maybe the child meets his birth mother on his adventure to break his adopted
Maybe.
mother out of jail.
Okay. All right. So she's in the park. She sees the kid. She's like, I'm gonna take that kid.
Mhm.
She's like, I'm gonna steal him. And what does she live in a like? Does she live on her own? Like, because I feel like if you just kidnap a child, somebody's gonna figure it out, one way or the other.
I think she lives on her own in a ratty little apartment.
Hmm. Okay, so she lives in a ratty little apartment. She kidnapped the child. How old is the child at this point? Like, it's a baby, right?
Yeah, definitely had to be a baby.
Yeah.
Not old enough to have memories or
Hmm.
anything like that.
Okay. So then she just becomes like the worst mother ever. Right? So the baby is crying, the baby is hungry, and she keeps looking at the baby and she's like, okay, 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 say it back. Okay. And the baby never says it back. And then eventually that's the baby's like first words.
The baby's first word is okay.
Yeah, and
Oh
she
wow.
oh my gosh. And that's like how she she wouldn't feed the child until he says okay back.
So the story is about her just being terrible, I
Yeah.
guess.
It doesn't have to be, but I don't know. Like,
So Hazel kidnaps the child.
mhm,
We see her finally begin to love the child when the child says okay back to her.
mhm.
And at that point, could we have like a time skip at that point where the child comes in comes in from school, he opens the door, he screams out to his mom, okay. And
That's the only way she interacts with him. Like, he has to say okay.
yeah, that's how he greets her.
Hmm.
He has to say okay. And he walks into a place with a cigarette between his lips, and he sees his mom sitting in a chair talking to two two uniformed men,
Hmm.
and she's crying and she looking at the child, and the child like, oh, okay, okay, and he's just like, oh, okay.
Oh God.
And hmm, and now we see the child get taken in by children protective services, or whatever you call them,
Hmm.
child protection services,
Hmm.
while Hazel is dragged off to prison.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the child, like, they confiscate his cigarettes and he's going crazy.
Were you about to say meth? They confiscate his meth.
Yeah, the hard drugs he was
Yeah.
doing, and he's starting to go crazy.
They
He's like,
confiscate her meth.
oh yeah, because she does meth
Yeah. She
too.
doesn't smoke because it's bad for her lungs.
Mm-hmm.
She injects meth though.
Yeah, she's like, I don't smoke. I'm better than that. And then she goes and she injects heroin into her veins. Anyway, oh my gosh. So all right. So he is at Child Protective Services. He's in like a room by himself, and
Mhm.
he's just like rocking back and forth, going like, okay,
Mhm.
okay. And then the ghost of Augustus.
Yeah. You know what I think it is? I think it is his I don't think it's an actual ghost. I think it is like a result of all the trauma and only ever seen pictures of Augustus for his whole entire
Hmm.
life because Insane Hazel definitely have a bunch of pictures of Augustus just about the
Yeah,
place.
for sure.
His mind creates this vision of a person who is Augustus,
Mhm.
and Augustus, his this imagined specter of a person. He's like, "Hey, I'm the ghost of that guy your mom loved. Do you want to go?
Let's break out
You
of
want to go get
prison.
her?"
Oh my gosh. So then he just like turns into a supervillain at 9.
Does he turn into a supervillain?
Why not?
Because what if he just goes on an adventure with his imaginary friend?
Mhm.
It's just a fun. What's the name of that one bear? You know that one bear with the marmalade? You know, Hamilton. That's not
Eh?
his name. That's not his
With the
name.
marmalade, you said?
The bear with the marmalade.
Pooh Bear?
No. Anyway, he goes on an adventure,
Okay.
for a happy-go-lucky sort of adventure
Oh, okay,
with
yeah.
his
Not all
imaginary
of our
friend.
stories have to be dark and
And twisted.
and twisted and dumb.
At least not visually.
Mhm.
Subtextually, though. I mean, it did open with her kidnapping a child and then the child getting dragged into Child Protective Services.
Yeah.
But
Eh.
but for the next like hour and a half, you just want to have a fun time.
Mhm. Okay. All right. So he crawls out of the window of the room
Hmm.
and he's like, "All right, I'm going to bust Hazel out." Yeah, because
And he
she
calls
never
her
lets him call
Hazel.
her mom. Yeah, she never lets him call her mom because that's too real for her. And Augustus would never.
Hmm.
So she's like, "You call me Hazel Grace," like how he did. Mm, yeah,
Okay.
right. So he's on an adventure.
Hmm.
What is like the conflict or the like, damn, maybe this eating thing is getting to me too. I'm just tired
Yeah,
now.
it's a bunch of food, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Damn.
Okay, okay.
So what is getting in his way? What's the obstacles? Is what I meant to say.
I would think that uh things such as the security at a prison or insane asylum, where they would have her.
Hazel?
Yeah.
I guess an insane asylum.
Hmm. Okay, so I suppose the security at an insane asylum would be hard to get past.
Hmm.
Okay, okay. So he's like, I need to find out like where my mom is. I have to find out how she. And I suppose one of the things you have to do. Well, he would know her name. How does he find out where she is at?
The ghost of Augustus tells him,
The ghost of
duh.
Augustus. Oh my lord.
We're trying
So
to rationalize this. I don't think this needs to be
yeah,
rational.
yeah. The ghost of Augustus says, you know, they took your mom to like the crazy people house, the loony bin.
Hmm.
And would he say the loony bin? Would he be? What if the ghost is just like
She's at a fun
an
house.
absolute soul?
What if he says like she's at a fun house or
It's at a
something?
fun house. The child is convinced that his mom had like a real nice place to be, and he wants to
Mm-hmm.
just go join her.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes. So he busts out the place. He's like, "Pa, see you suckers. I'm gonna get my mommy." He take a taxi down to town. Like
To town.
he gets to town, he jumps out of town, he
A
like
taxi. Does he have money?
he doesn't have money. He takes a taxi. I don't know if you understand how money works.
Oh.
He takes a taxi, he goes down to town. The taxi driver's like, all right, that's $7.57 because they're in America.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what is dollars?
Mm-hmm.
Would you like cigarettes?
Okay.
And taxi driver like, no, get out. He put him out in town. He
Mm-hmm.
looking about the place. He sees a as out to see a security guy, a police. He sees a police officer. He's like, sir, I need to find my mommy.
So is he now at the insane asylum? Insane
Is
asylum.
he at the scene? No, I don't think so. I think.
All right, so the security guard is like, "What are you doing on your own? No, you come here. Let me call your mom." Right?
Mm-hmm.
And and when the security guard pulls out his phone, he steals it. And he runs away. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So he runs away and he sells the phone. So he can get money. Oh my
For
gosh, wait.
cigarettes.
This might get this might get dark again. So he sells the phone and then he gets money and he's like, I want to buy something that I can smoke. So he goes up to a random guy because he knows he can't buy cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes up to a random man and he's like, can you buy me something that I can smoke? And instead of getting him cigarettes, the man gets him weed. Yeah.
Why having a 9-year-old use weed?
Well, is this not wholesome enough for you?
Okay, that's fine. It is.
Yeah. So he gets weed, and then he he gives the 9-year-old weed,
Mm-hmm.
and then he starts smoking, and he's like, "Wow, this is a different cigarette than I'm used to."
These are jazz cigarettes.
Yeah, and then like he starts hallucinating even more.
My, yeah, yeah. All right, so he goes on a weed adventure at this point. All right, what would he do on his weed adventure? Sure, I don't use drugs. I don't know what
And
this
neither
is
do
like.
I. Stay off drugs, kids.
Yes.
I mean, okay, I haven't, but if I did, I would know that you get really hungry and then you get really ambitious, like you want to do something, and then you start doing it, and then you forget that you're doing it in the middle of doing it,
Mhm.
and then you get hungry again. And then you start feeling like, and then you go to bed.
What?
The girls that get it, and the ones that don't. Okay, you would know what I mean. You know what I mean.
I
If I smoked weed, that
I'm
is.
so confused by everything you said. But I did hear get hungry and become ambitious, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he gets like he gets into that state of mind. He's like everything is nice, everything is cool. He has fun with a stray dog or something for a bit, and then he goes like, his stomach goes, "Roar," and he's like, "Frick, I need food, but I used all my money on these incredible cigarettes." And he's like, "I'll just do that same scam again." And he's like, "Hello, Mr. Officer. Can I borrow your phone, please?"
Is it the same officer or like a different one?
You know what? Yeah, it's the same
It's the
officer.
same because that is something that would happen. So he's like, let me just do the same thing again.
Yeah,
Hey,
it worked last
officer.
time. Hello, mister. Can I
Oh my
borrow your phone,
gosh.
please?
And then wait, is this a security guard that like works at a building or is it like a police officer?
I was thinking as a police officer.
They can arrest him.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
They take the child is high off his ass,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, we have to bring you to the I got to say prison. That's not prison. The jailhouse. The police
Juvie.
station. The police station is
Oh.
the name. They bring him to the police station. Like, yo, we have to find out who this kid is. Get him in contact with his mom.
Mm-hmm.
While he's sitting there, high off his, like looking at his hands, like, whoa, the big and the small. And that's why I don't see any movies. I have no idea what it's actually like. the A woman is walking out, and one of the officers are like trying to console her, like, it's been all these years, you need to give up. And she looks across and she sees this child sitting there staring at his hands, and she goes, "That's him.
That's Billy.
That's Billy. That's my son." And all the officers like, You're heckin' insane. Your son probably dead. He disappeared 9 years ago." She's like, "You child, how old are you?" "I'm 9." It's like, "Oh my god!"
Insane. But then she's like, Billy, do you remember me? And he's like, my name is Augustus. And
Oh.
then he goes to light another blunt. No, actually he doesn't. He just like puts it in his mouth, and then everybody's like, what are you doing? And he's
He's like,
like, it's a
"It's a metaphor."
metaphor. So now she's trying to convince him that she's his mother, but he doesn't believe it because he needs to get Hazel out of the insane asylum.
Mhm.
So he punches her in the face.
Like the actual real life mother tries to explain to him what happens, and he's
Mhm.
like, "You know you're wrong, you crazy.
Mhm.
My my mommy would never call me Billy. My mommy would just scream okay at me over and over again."
For sure. So then, like, he runs away from the police station because it's so easy to get out of police
Yeah,
stations.
well, when it's a high 9-year-old in a movie about a
Yeah,
high
you're
9-year-old having
invincible. Come
fun, yeah.
on. You're invincible.
his his, his ghost friend Augustus distracts the police officers while he gets away.
Please explain to me in detail how that happens.
While Augustus is walking towards the door, Ghost
Mhm.
Augustus comes and taps the police officer on the shoulder on the opposite side, and the police officer looks in that direction while Augustus runs away, obviously.
Okay. I mean, all right,
Hmm.
okay. So Ghost Augustus distracts everyone while the real Augustus runs away, right? And now they're outside the police station. He's running. He's running. He's running. What else does he do? He stops. He lights the blunt again. Yeah, because he needs to think. So he stops. He takes a smoke break. And he's like, I need to find a way to get to the insane asylum.
Hmm.
Hmm. How does he get there?
So he puffs some smoke, right? And as the smoke comes out of his mouth, he realizes it vaguely resembles a map.
Bro. It vaguely resembles a
Map.
map.
Ah, no, he very high.
Yeah, okay. And he's like, I'm here, and the insane asylum is or the fun house, that's what he's calling it. He's
Hmm.
like, the fun house is like around the corner, right? Okay,
You
I
know,
know.
just to maintain this as a legitimate movie,
Mhm.
he thinks he sees the map in his smoke. He actually had one of those tourist attractions that show you a map of like
Yeah.
and he just seeing the map now.
Mm-hmm.
He's like,
Okay. All right. So where he's going, his destination, the fun house, is all right, here's what I'm thinking. It's around the corner, like he's not too far from it. But he's calling it the fun house, but he doesn't know that it's an insane asylum,
hmm.
right? So then it has a building next to it that's like an actual literal fun house.
Okay, so the city we have designed, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is some tourist attraction here.
Yeah.
There's an insane asylum here. All right, next to the insane asylum
It's
is
a
a
fun house
friggin'
and a police station. And the police
Right on the
station
front
is
of-
around the block.
Yeah, I think they need the police station to be that
Yeah.
close by, given the conditions of what the city is right now. Oh.
To me, now it's just sounding like Gotham City. And the fun house has like a bunch of clowns in it.
the Yeah, Gotham City is really
What if this is the Joker origin story?
maybe the Jared Leto Joker. Like,
Yeah, probably.
can't be a legitimate Joker. Hmm.
Hmm. Are we living or are we dying?
Who living and who dying?
Us, are we living or are we dying for this scenario?
For the
Should the
situation.
funhouse be next to the
No,
insane
it should
asylum?
not. It absolutely should not be next to the insane
Okay,
asylum.
fine. But it's not a funhouse then. I like a little bit of danger in my
Hmm.
adventures.
What if he goes on a big escape from the police officers? The police are chasing him here, and he does indeed get into a fun house where the police follow him into it, and he expects to find his mom there,
Hmm.
and he can't because he had a real fun house, while Ghost Augustus keeps on him as a fun house. But Ghost Augustus was wrong.
Okay, so he goes to a real funhouse
He finds
instead.
an actual fun house and he's like, "That's where my mommy is." And he
Hmm.
runs into the place and the police. the
Oh my
police
gosh.
jump.
So in the funhouse, he like comes in, like those mirrors.
Mhm.
Yeah, so he encounters the mirrors and he's staring at himself in the mirror and he's like, who am I? Am I Billy or am I Augustus? Or am I
Mhm.
both? Or am I neither? He has like an existential crisis. He's like, should I even be smoking? He's like, was that lady really my mom? Should I have punched her in her face? Is Augustus even real?
He looking back at like the stuff that happened in his life and it's like because as a child when terrible things happen they tend to rationalize it and but he starting to face some like the actual reality of what his memories are
Mm-hmm.
and he start to like lose his whole he start to lose his beans now, babe.
Mm-hmm.
What if the police you have a scene at the police station where they'll be like, yeah, that's the kid that they took from that one crazy lady.
Mm.
Uh the police catch him and this noodle drunk destroying me right now.
Yeah, same.
This noodle drunk. God, I mean I just had a child read smoke. That's
and then like have it turn into a map. And now he's in a fun house.
okay. And he contemplating his life.
I'm contemplating my life, honestly.
So the officers catch him. They tackle him to the ground. He lying on the ground in tears, screaming, crying, like
Throwing up,
throwing up.
screaming, crying, throwing up, tantrum.
Uh, his weed is everywhere. Ghost Augustus trying his best to pull him off, but he is indeed a ghost.
Mhm.
And they bring him to back to the station, I suppose, and they're like, yo, here's what happened. This is where your mom is at. We know there's a lot for you to deal with as a baby. And he's like, I need to talk to her. I need her to tell me for herself or whatever. He
Mhm.
asked he asked them for some sort of closure. Or I don't know, a psychiatrist. Yeah, as a psychiatrist would say something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe he should see his mom. See this lady and have us give him closure in order to help him deal with this situation.
Mhm.
And when it is he goes to they go to carry him well when they don't carry him to meet his mom, they get back to him at the orphanage. He's waiting to see this fake mom. He don't associate with his real mom. And they
Mhm.
come back and they're like, we can't carry you to see her because she has died. She commits suicide in the asylum. And
Okay.
that news, he just kind of snaps,
Mhm.
and it closes with him having a meal with Hazel and Ghost Augustus.
Mhm.
and it it zooms out on them having a meal in this place. The scene shifts to show that it is just him sitting on the floor by himself, talking to Ghost Hazel and Ghost Augustus as though they were one big happy family.
I thought this was supposed to be
The
wholesome
child
and
is
fun.
insane.
I thought this was supposed to be wholesome and fun. That's a cartoon. I mean, all right.
I don't know, you want to make it wholesome and fun?
No,
Can
like,
you?
it's more interesting. No, I can't. I genuinely don't think I have what it takes to make something light and breezy.
You see, when we had
Yeah.
them being ghosts trying to get each other back to heaven, that gotta be light and breezy, but no, you chose a kidnapped child.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, that's more concrete. Like, there's no way we could have.
Written about.
Yeah, like, there's no way we could have made it dark and and edgy. I should have known who we are. I
Hello.
should have known.
Okay, so you want to work out those 5 acts?
Okay.
It opens, it shows the kidnapping of this child.
Kidnapping.
Uh,
Hey. I have something.
uh,
But like I'm not realizing kidnapping is like, well, kidnapping, like taking a kid. Why do we call it kidnapping for
welcome to
adults?
2022, bro.
Adult napping.
Adult napping. That's a
Wild.
good question. You want to just cancel this podcast and look up the etymology of kidnapping instead?
Yeah, let's just do that.
Yeah. I thought you was really going to grab your phone and start searching, but okay. Well, we will Google that in our own free time, and we encourage
Yeah, that's
you.
your homework audience.
Yeah.
Send
Please.
us send us an essay
Of
about
the
that.
etymology of kidnapping.
Yeah.
In the form of a tweet.
So the kidnapping. The climax is, what is the climax?
I think it will build a climax with him coming home, discovering
Okay, so that's the rising action.
the mommy's like, okay, and he's like, okay, and then they get separated. It would show him, being alone in this place. And that's when he encounters his ghost friend Augustus. And Ghost Augustus encourages him to go, like, break his mommy out of the fun house. Yeah, he hits the streets. And he has his weird adventure.
Weird
And
adventure.
yeah. And I realized I stopped breaking down the 5 acts and I just started breaking down the action points. And that's fine.
That's cool.
I'm noodle drunk. I forgive
Yeah,
myself.
I feel like we have long thrown away the idea of structure. That's been out the window since, honestly, the last podcast.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's just like us writing down whatever. Weird adventure. That's like the climax, and also him meeting his mom.
And it leads into this big chase sequence where they run through doors in a hallway and such and so forth. And they get to the part where they finally hold on the child and they're like, we need to deal with your trauma now. And it goes into in trying to deal with the trauma, they discover that the mom has committed suicide. And they try to reveal this to the child, and it causes the child to snap. And it closes with the child in his state of, I don't know what you would call this kind of mental illness, but
honestly, like, when you are hallucinating people, isn't that, I don't want to say the word, because I heard that saying that people aren't called that anymore. Wait, no. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Schizophrenia.
Schizophrenia.
That's when you hallucinate.
That's when you hallucinate people.
Yeah, I was thinking about something else for a moment, but no, it's schizophrenia. So he finds out he has like schizophrenia and he's in a madhouse, like hallucinating.
Yeah, and
I don't know how to spell that.
That's where, which one, schizophrenia or hallucinate?
Schizophrenia, obviously.
I don't know. Well, I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure if I know how to spell hallucinate. I have to start spelling
I'll just put skits.
it. Okay. So he catches these skits, and that's where our movie ends. Is
Solid.
so all
Solid.
right, and that's the Fault in Our Stars Part 2.
Yeah. I mean, okay. I can see. Can I see it? It is an enigma,
Mhm.
honestly. Um, the first Fault in Our Stars was such like it tugged on our heartstrings, and so too will this one,
Yeah, in a different way,
in
in
a
a good
different
way,
way.
in a better way, perhaps. Who even
Maybe,
knows?
maybe.
We need a name for this one.
Oh my God, we didn't come up with a name
We did
yet.
not come up
It's
with a
just a
name for it.
sequel. The Fault in Our Weed.
That really,
Nah, that's too. That's too
that's
soft.
so that's something that they would think that the guys who wrote Scary Movie wrote this one. So
Oh my gosh, yeah, it just sounds like a parody.
yeah, the
Mhm.
Fault in Our. It sounds like a low effort parody.
It does. Or like, did you see the parody for 50 Shades of Grey?
Nope.
It's called 50 Shades of Black, and it was
Oh,
written
with the
by
Wayans
Marlon something.
brothers.
Yeah, like the guy
Uh,
that was in White Chicks, I think.
mhm.
Yeah, I remember watching it with one of my friends, and like the the scene that stuck out the most was, one of these guys like he pulled down his pants, and he had this like 15-inch dick. No, like it was touching the ground. And then it was so, and like when I tell you full frontal nudity, they went there. It was just like they showed us every inch of that. It was honestly
They.
iconic, and I was turned on. Nah. Nah, actually, no, I was actually really deeply disturbed by
Yeah,
it.
that's why that's why that one scene from the Love Guru where the guy
Hmm.
they didn't show his willy, or maybe I saw the safe for TV version,
Mm.
but it had the scene where this guy was hooking up with this other guy ex girlfriend, and he was like, "Yo, you wouldn't believe what happened," and it showed him open his pants, and you just heard. You heard
Horrified. Joel, we have kids listening to
you
this.
heard the sound of his member hit the floor. That was terrible.
Oh no. Oh gosh. Yeah. You know, I could see how like this movie that we just made could be like a parody. I could see how it could be a
Or it
parody
could be a
maybe.
very serious movie about mental health and
Sure.
the dangers of exposing children to drugs.
Oh, definitely,
Yeah, for
definitely.
sure.
Yes, we take this seriously. Actually, this is quite a serious. This entire thing has been a PSA for drug taking in young
The Fault in Our
adolescents.
Stars, an ocean of scars. I just rhymed scars with stars, and I was like, what would
Mm-hmm.
it be?
Let me think.
The ghost of you.
Mm, the fault in our society.
What even? If any listeners at home would like to give this movie a name, that would be phenomenal.
That would be very good and cool.
So I believe we have written this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe someday we will revisit this movie
Probably.
when we less food drunk.
Yeah, I could definitely see us doing better. It was just, I don't know, like maybe all that food we ate was
I
not the
very
move.
believe that yeah, no, I should be taking a nap right now.
I definitely should be taking a
But
nap
instead of taking a nap right now, we need to pitch this movie.
on like one collective brain cell.
Yeah.
On one brain cell that the two of us are battling for dominance over right now. We are sitting here working so that you guys could get entertainment. So honestly, you're welcome.
Wow. You're
That
such a
came off as
diva.
so
You've
condescending.
become you have hosted a podcast for 2 episodes and
The
you are
fame
such
has
a
changed me.
diva.
The fame has made a monster. I now understand Lady Gaga's album.
So now we need to flip this coin.
Absolutely not. You're doing it.
Am I?
Yes, because I did last time. But we can't flip the coin. Okay.
All right, train, flip that coin.
Cards in the air.
Heads.
I got it first try. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely heads.
Is it? Is it really?
I think it. Let's flip it again. Card.
Tails. He did it?
Yeah, it's definitely tails.
No,
for
it's
sure.
not. That's
For
Destiny.
sure.
Destiny wants you to do the elevator, bitch.
We're flipping it a third time.
I already
Hold on a
got.
second.
I already got 2 out of 3.
Call it.
Tails.
Yeah, you're doing it.
What?
It's tails.
Oh
It's
God!
tails.
All right.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
I could never be.
And go.
So you've heard of The Fault in Our Stars?
Mm.
I'm sure you remember that that movie that tugged the heartstrings of teens and tweens everywhere. How do you feel about a sequel? Our protagonist Hazel, she simply could never move on. She finds herself in disarray and in her state of depression and perhaps insanity. Wink. She kidnaps a child. Now, our protagonist, she's taken away from this child who finds himself without a mother, without a home, without identity, and on his quest to recover his family, he falls deeper into the pitfalls of a society so uncaring, accompanied by the ghost of his mother's former lover.
You panicked so much at the end there.
I couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
That was. I would not greenlight that movie if I was a TV executive.
I don't think it was too bad.
We should do this one again sometime.
Yeah, probably.
Not next episode, or maybe not the episode, but eventually we'll come back to this one.
We will definitely. I think we you know what, we went on a little adventure before this. That really did take a lot of energy. We got lost for like a half an hour.
That is true. We got lost. We got food drunk, and then we made content like a pair of absolute boobs.
Yeah. Because we really thought, like, you know what we need to do on top of that day that we just had? We need to sit down for an extra hour and create something. Yeah, that was the right move.
So thank you so much for joining us here on this situation, this absolute cluster of an episode.
Yes, thank you, dearly, to all of our fans out there. I await your lovely fan mail.
And you can send that lovely fan mail to us on Twitter or Instagram at The Elevator Pod, or to our email address, theelevatorpod@gmail.com. If you have any ideas on how this should have gone, how you do it better, which I'm sure lots of you have tons of ideas.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Feel free to hit us up and let us know. We love to read what you have to say and then tell the whole world about how you were so much better at it than us in the next episode. Also, speaking of episodes and such, we are bad at names. Luckily, we only had to give 2 characters names and they already had names. So if you would like to contribute some names to our efforts, please feel free to do that as well. We'll say the names that you propose and then thank you for it also. This has been the Elevator Pod. I have been Joel.
And I'm Shireen.
Thank you so much for joining. I already said thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for joining us, everyone.
I hope you go get some sleep, as I will soon. The Elevator Pod is proud to be hosted by TTPM, the Trinidad and Tobago Podcasts and Media Network of Podcasts and Media. And we'll see you on the next floor.
Bye.